Hey guys, welcome back to the Bussedamove YouTube channel. I'm William, and we're going to be talking about roof raises. This is part 2 of a 4-part series about roof raises. The first of this was an overview of what we did and how we did it and how we came to it and things like that. And in this one, we're going to be talking about the front transition. So when it comes to roof raises, there are plenty of things that you can do, and no two are the same. A lot of roof raises look the same, but hardly any two are the same, and it's because there's so much engineering that people figure out along the way by themselves. So we're no exception to that, and when we started, you can kind of just do whatever you want. And I decided that I wanted a long, gradual slope, and the reason I wanted that is because I wanted to save the original roof from the first to the second rib, and I wanted to do that so we could have a built-in shelf for like an audiovisual setup or some sort of multimedia center or just storage in general. Just thought it would be cool to have a shelf that repurposed the original roof. I think it looks pretty cool. It turned out really neat, and we're excited about that, but that's not why we're here. We're here to show you exactly what we did. You have to have a square line. So we chose this as our square line. So we took paper just like this, and we taped the square edge of the paper to the bottom of here and ran it down a little further. So the door is here, so the point would come well below where we needed it, about right there. So we made sure that where our fiberglass cap is right here, that the angle intersected properly and went right here, knowing that we were going to trim this corner piece off right here. And you'll see, oh, about to fall off this ladder, awesome. And you'll see, based on our square line here, it follows exactly the edge of this metal, the sheet metal, which follows exactly the line of our support that's welded there. You'll see that this square line puts this way beyond where it needs to be, because it needs to be right there. And instead it goes all the way out here. There is the problem. So what we're doing here is we're matching arcs to angles. Super fun. So I went ahead and trimmed off a lot from the top and then kind of some of this. And remember, we have one square edge that we're dealing with, and everything else is negotiable. But everything else that's negotiable works off of the one constant. It's like an algebra problem or something. You have to solve for the variables based on what you know. And then this is what we know right here. So, and the way our transition works, I'll climb up one more rung. So we have a center piece right there. If you can see my finger coming down this line. Hey, Nanny. There's two larger panels in the middle that intersect in the dead center. And then on the outsides of those, we come down to the roll. So this piece that we're cutting actually tucks beyond this double row of rivets here, and it goes up about right here, I believe. So that's cool. So you don't really have to do a lot over here, but your piece, if you do it like we did it, it'll be flush and square on this side and on that side, and we're cutting our arcs into the short pieces of the rectangle. So if you remember anything about algebra in high school, we are working off the constant that we know, which is this, and comes down to the point, and we'll be trimming up this way, but this is our variable. So you get the variables by knowing what the constant is. So that's why we tape on the square line there, knowing that whatever it is what it'll be out here, but we know this. And so that's our line. And then going all the way back, if you remember anything about kindergarten or elementary school or something, we can do some relief art here. And so we have a high part here and a low part here. So what we'll do is just trace onto the paper. You can start seeing the shadow form there. Where are we? Now this part is definitely easier with the transition being here. But you can still do it because we obviously did it with no transition here. So you can really see the line there. I really need a camera person. My mom didn't want to get on a ladder. So here we are, we'll cut through there, down the gap, just like that. And I'm trying to be careful not to cut into my seal, but you won't have to worry about that because you're not there yet. I'm gonna flip the camera around and see what we can do about that. I'm gonna continue our line. Oh, I ripped it. And so that's scored enough to where we can start to tear it. We also have a marker here, and we can continue the line down as we know it. And we actually missed this time, dadgummit. We missed the corner, but remember, this is our drip rail for the door. We knew we were gonna stop here anyway. So ultimately, the fact that this lines up is irrelevant, or doesn't line up is irrelevant. So we trace. Obviously, you'll do it a little cleaner than this. We've already done it clean once, but just for the sake of the video, we're showing you again. But that's how ours is, and this joint now butts up directly to the top end of the drip rail, right there. So it's a nice little line there, and we packed it with a buttload of this sealer, and it should be good to go forever. And now we've cut. And so we have our original square line, if you remember, that comes to this corner and follows there, and then tucks in ever so nicely to our fiberglass cap on the front of our bus. I don't know how your bus is, but we have this nice little cap that we butted up against right there. And we need to go back and put a little more sealant there. Otherwise, we'll have a funnel that runs the water straight down into the cap, which is not good. But you can see here, we've already got it going, and it's really awesome here. And it's been done since, I guess we started this part in the summertime and finished it around September. And it's been just sitting outside out here on the old farm in the rain and stuff since we finished it. And there's no water in the bus at all. So definitely a good thing. And so our heat solution there to tap that down before sealing it worked amazingly. It looks a little janky at the moment because I ran out of the white stuff. And no, I didn't run out of the white stuff. I just accidentally grabbed a tube of black instead of white. But we'll go back over it with Tropicool or something, and it's gonna be fine. But it's a watertight seal that looks pretty stinking good, I think. I'm kind of glad this was here for the sake of the video, obviously, because not only it shows you how well it turned out, but it was also a good mold in lieu of having the other person up here. But something we actually wound up doing, I think I might have some photos or something of it, but we did things like bottom, front, because this looks awesome up here, but when you get it down on your metal, you don't know which end is which. So what we did was wrote on it so we could do our actual cutting and stuff. We knew where we were at. So then we did top. And I believe we also said passenger. That would make the most sense. Now that we're down on the ground, it is a little harder to put together what is what, which is why we made the notes. This is actually part of the hood of our bus. We're in the process of painting it right now. So anyway, if you'll see, we have a square line here, and that's the only square line that exists anymore because we've maneuvered the rest of them around. And if you get a piece of metal curved like we did for the box truck cap, like we've been talking about, then you'll see here, this kind of looks like a square line, but that is our curve. And when it fits, you're basically turning a curved line now into a straight line when it makes the appropriate curve. I should have taken the tape off. But it looks subtle because it is subtle, but you saw how bad it was misaligned the first time. being the other square. So you have to do this or it's not going to work. And but that's how you do it. And just trim the little corner off like that, and it'll all line up perfectly. And then basically what we did was we just took measurements back from this line all the way back, and we knew that the front of our transition to the back of our transition was 57.5 inches. So if we did enough lines backward on this same square, obviously, on that same square line, using this as a starting point and the other end as the end point, this curve worked exactly the same back there. And it was a beautiful thing, and it fit like a glove. If you've seen any of our Instagram posts, you've seen in our front transition that there seems to be a massive overhang from the top where it's raised, and that's just so we left a little overhang. You can always cut away, but you can't add once it's gone. So I will show you now right here. The mark itself that we cut from the inside wasn't super square, super straight, so we just pulled a line using our cutoff metal right here from the sidewalls, and we clamped it to the side over there, and then I sat on it with my knees and we pulled a straight edge here, and with a speed square is your friend, we were able to mark a new line. And we're gonna cut, you can see here it's only about 2.5 inches from the edge of the hat channel, and we'll be able to fold this down onto our transition metal right there. So it's coming together, it's awesome. You can see the massive overhang that we had here to begin with. And just like we thought, if you trim it back, you can always trim, but you can't add. So we trimmed it back and we heated it up with the help of the blowtorch. And then you can follow the hat channel down. You see this rivet is on the hat channel. So we heated along there, and we will do so on the same line all the way up to that rivet. That is all the hat channel. So we'll cut a couple of more stripes like that across here. A little heat on the line, a little tap, a little encouragement with the hammer. And we're gonna have a solid joint there by the time we put our same sealant that we've been using the whole time and rivets along the line like this. It's gonna be a really, really great upper transition. We got this angle a lot better with the arc. So with our 2-inch or 2.5-inch overhang from the side of the hat channel, I have just a little bit we need to beat down. You see I have the slice made there, there. And we'll just apply a little bit of heat up in line with the hat channel on our line all the way to the top. And then with a little hammering, it goes right down. And we have the other side done already, and you can see how great that looks. So we'll go back and pry up just enough to get some sealer under there, and then we'll rivet that down, and we should have a pretty solid piece there by the time it's all said and done. It's a little dark in here. We have our bus positioned for painting, so we have all the lights in here unplugged. But you can see it's a 4-panel rig. That's the curved one that's white. That's another curved one that's white. And then we have a panel here and a panel here. So we have support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is dead center here. And then our 2 bigger panels come in over that. So the big panel spans from center to here. And then the other panel, you can see it overlaps significantly. It goes from here to the outer one. And then the curve actually tucks up under here on both sides. So basically what we're doing is shedding water all the way around. So we have everything here on top, everything there on top, and every step you go higher on the bus, that level is on top. So water never sheds into a seam at all. And so we have our rivet holes there that are sealed up. Never, never, never skimp out on your sealer in a situation like this. It is vital, unless you want water in your bus, which we absolutely do not. But you can see our curve fits perfectly all the way around. All the way around. And then I have a little shelf there which is awesome. And I'm stepping on all of our stuff in the bus. Don't be afraid to do whatever it takes to make it work. And it may be weird and it may be something that is unorthodox, but just do whatever it takes to build your bus the way that is the safest and the way that works for you, and to make sure you get it right. And one of the funny things that we had to do, because our metal was so strong, we had to wrap a tow strap around the entire bus and secure it off on either side, and really just squeeze it to death in order to get the curve right. The furthest out support that we had welded in, that was our square line. So we were able to just start there, and we ran the rivets up all the way on that one, or on that outside edge. And then we had to get the tow strap to suck it down to the actual curve of the bus. And you know, nothing's off limits. If it works, it works. And that was able to work for us the way that we needed it to. So we were able to get rivets all the way across the front, right behind the nose cone, and get the back exactly just right. And so fortunately we had our floor jack still in the floor of the bus that we had used for the roof raise, and so we kept it, and we had a post, and once it was secure on the front end of the bus right behind the nose cone, we had to make sure that we had it pushed out to the hat channel at the top of the transition, so we were able to get the floor jack and a fence post, and we jacked it up and got it in place there. And then from there we went back and riveted all of our holes all the way up to the top, and our front transition is amazing because of it. And it's gonna last a long time, and it's gonna be strong for a long time, because we took the time to do it right, and to not be scared of trying new things and inventing new things that might work. Half the battle of this entire process is just being brave enough to try, or stupid enough to try. I don't know, but I like to think of it as bravery. So just think about what could work, and then see if it does. And if it does, you're lucky, or if it doesn't, try again. And that's just it, guys. Just keep trying. Those of us that have looked into this have gone back and forth with insurance companies on how do you do it? Will you insure it? Please God, will you insure it? I don't know. Those kind of things. And it was something that our insurance company brought to us. They were like, look, so many people butcher these things. Like, if you're gonna do it, you need to make sure that it's gonna be structurally sound, and you don't do anything to compromise any structural integrity, which obviously we didn't want to do anyway. We really put our heads together about it and figured it out. And I wanted our transition to be strong enough to walk on, and strong enough to genuinely add strength to the structure instead of compromising it. Part of the way we achieved that is I took a cue from a box truck that I had seen. I was like, man, instead of reinventing the wheel here, let's figure out what works, and what works all the time from a mass production standpoint, what works in daily life. And they have walls that meet at 90-degree angles, and they have a ceiling that is also 90 degrees to all of it. And they have just little rounded end caps that kind of join them all together. And I was like, man, I bet if we built the sidewalls in just the right way, and we built the top part in just the right way, with that long slope, then I wonder if we could have a piece of metal bent to join the two that's curved. And I wanted to do that because instead of using like a super thin gauge metal, or whatever it is that you've seen people use, that where it gets all wrinkly and just not really super great, I used the same gauge metal that our sidewalls are. From the outset of the project, we decided we wanted thicker walls, and even walls that are thicker than the stock sheet metal in the bus. So we have 16 gauge metal. And we tried to build a jig to build our own box truck curve, so to speak, for the front transition, and it was a miserable failure, because 16 gauge metal that is 3 feet wide and 8 feet long is pretty strong. So we were unable to bend it. So we drew the curve, we figured out exactly what it needed to be, and we took it to a machine shop, and they were able to do it in about, I don't know, 20 seconds. And it was awesome, because then we had factory made edges and curves, and it was exactly what we needed. And we were able to take that and apply our paper templates that we had made to get the arcs just right, and apply it to what they had built, and basically we got it right on both sides. One side is a little better than the other, but that's to be expected. And we say all the time that the second bus that we build is going to be fantastic, and I don't think we're going to build a second one. But anytime that we've done the same thing twice on this bus, the second time is always better, which is it's great because we're learning. But we got the curve built just right, and we got the arc cut just right, so it fits flush and square where it needs to be square and curved where it needs to be curved, and there's a perfect gap between the nose cone of the bus and the transition from the sides to the front and all of it, and it's really cool. It turned out really great. And not to mention the fact that it's 16 gauge metal in that curve with the double row of rivets on the top and bottom of the curve. It adds a lot of strength. I can walk up and down our transition and it hardly buckles at all, and it certainly doesn't bend or lose its shape or crease or anything like that. And to me, that's a victory because we were able to do what we set out to do, which was build a front transition that was structurally sound. So that's it. That's our front transition. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you got value out of it, and maybe it inspired you to do your own, and or maybe you want to do it this way, and we were able to help you do that, and I really hope that we were. If you got anything out of this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. We have the comments down there, so just give us a shout. Ask us anything you'd love to know. I mean, I'm sure we left something out, and maybe if we did and we figure that out, we'll do another video later. But if you have any questions about what we've done, that's why we're here. That's why we made this channel. We want to help, and we love being a part of the YouTube community. We love just getting to know people in this world. It's super cool to know that something that we've done like this can help other people, and I really hope that it does. I'd also love to invite you to like this video, and liking it helps us get in front of other people that we might be able to help in this specific niche, and liking the video just puts us in a better position to help other people and meet other people, and that's what this is about, man. We're here to meet you guys and to hang out and just to be a part of each other's lives, and that's a super exciting thing. So if you'd like to see more, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell, and so that we can meet again. And we want to be a part of your life, and we want you to be a part of ours. So let's do it together. And bus love.